Was the book challenging? A lot of my full professional schedule, it was. It become very tedious. You have to do drafts, and you send them to the publishing company. Then they'll send it back to you saying that you need to change this and change that. And if you don't really have a made-up mind, if you're not tenacious, you never will write a book, because it takes a lot of time and attention. You have to do some proofreading. You have to be observant about the grammar and that type of thing. You really got to know the 8 parts of speech, because that's all involved when you're writing. You're writing a book, what have you, and you have deadlines to meet too. You have a contract to honor. So, and it takes a lot of discipline. And when you start, you have to continue, irrespective of what your other chores may be as far as your profession. You have to really dig deep and continue to cultivate ideas and write the things that you feel like are very important. And so what's happening in the community at large really influenced me to hang in there and continue, because as an individual would see my manuscript, they would say to me, Dr. Brown, said, that's ingenious there. You need to keep writing. So with that kind of support, what have you, it made it a little easier for me to stay in the race and write pure butter. And to me, that's very important. So I stayed the course, and I'm very proud of that. All right. For a person to undertake becoming an author, number one, they have a lot of good ideas already, but what they need to do is focus on a particular concept, a group of concepts that they feel like would be interesting to someone else, or to the reader. It's almost like supply and demand. You see, what can I say that's going to be rewarding and uplifting and motivational and challenging to someone else? Because if you don't have those kind of ingredients, you see, well, you may have a supply, pardon me, but there are no demands for your product. So you have to be very serious about what you want to do, and also take a notebook, have a pen and paper every day. And when certain things cross your mind, what have you, you make notations. Those things that are troubling you in society, and you feel like you can make a constructive contribution toward that idea. This is what it's all about. And I find out I talk to a lot of people, a lot of young folk, and they have a lot of good ideas, what have you. But you have to encourage them, what have you. And every time I see something in the media about do you want to publish and what have you, I notice that a lot of publishing companies, they're advertising, trying to solicit and attract more writers, what have you. And that's very important. So I just pass it on to people ask me about my book and how did you do this, what have you. And then you also can go and look in the library and sort of scan some of the titles in the library. And also you can look at how large they are. See, the number of pages, really, it's not that important, you know, because people write papers every day. And some of those students that write things in high school and college, term papers, they become articles, they become monograms, they become books and what have you. You see, it's like this book here, Pure Butter. It's about 35 pages, you see, but it's not, so it's not very large, it's easy to read and what have you. And that's an attraction about this book anyway. As I always said when I was a little boy, it's not the size of the ship that makes you seasick, it's the motion of the ocean. So there's a lot of motion in this ocean here, Pure Butter. And so that's what they need to do, take and put their ideas down, write them down, you see, and don't throw them away. And as time goes along, you can add something to those words. And when the words start incubating, what have you, you know, they start to grow. And when you think that you have enough information, what have you, then you try it out on some of the other people, what have you. Because I would ask people, how do you feel about this? And I had an article or two in some of the businesses. And what really fired me up one day, a businessman saw one of my articles. They said, who wrote this? They said, Dr. Brown. He said, well, this is ingenious. So right then he wanted me to come in and make a video, what have you. So this same thing happened to these young people because they have some good ideas. So we have to encourage them in order to do that and write things down. It's very important. Everybody got something to say, you see. But if you're serious, what have you, you need to write things down, continue to write things down, and eventually you will come up with enough information that will constitute a book.
Don't go anywhere. Community Central TV will be back right after this break.